Today, we're taking a look at my shelter and sleep system. So if you saw my video a couple of weeks back about the gear that I'm reusing from the Appalachian Trail, then you saw all three of these items already. Today, I'm going to talk a little bit more about them and my experiences with them, and explain a little more why I'm bringing them with me on the PCT, other than being able to just reuse them. So first of all, let's take a look at this Zpacks Plexamid. Now, I'm not as confident in this tent as I previously was, because I did have issues with the carbon fiber stays snapping, but after a quick repair job with some Cuban tape and installing the titanium stays that Zpacks provided me with, the tent is back in action. And I'm bringing this because I've only really used Zpacks shelters since 2016. It's all I've used. I've had a duplex, I've had an altiplex, and I've had the Plexamid. I wasn't the biggest fan of the altiplex, but the duplex and the Plexamid, I think they're designed great. They're really good tents, with the exception of, like I said, those poorly designed carbon fiber stays. I have about 900 miles or so on this tent now, and it's held up fairly well. It's just enough size for me and my gear. I could maybe try to squeeze another person in if I had to, but there's no way they would be able to sit up, and you wouldn't be fitting any gear in here if someone else was in here. Now, the bathtub floor, it's extremely high. It's probably about a good 8 inches there. And that's all the way around. Sit up, no problem. I can stretch. Okay, it's got a gigantic rainbow zipper. Now, this zipper, you do kind of have to hold one side when you unzip. Okay, now I've gone over this tent in a couple other videos, so I'm going to do a quick run through of the pluses and the minuses on it. I'm going to start with the negatives. The biggest negative is the fact that I had to replace those stays, and the tent was out of commission for about a month while I waited for Zpacks to ship me these stays. Now, that's the only real con. Pros: it weighs 14.8 ounces. It has a very large rainbow zipper door. The bathtub floor is a good 8 inches when the door is zipped all the way up, and that goes all the way around. You can also raise up the bathtub floor using these toggles. There's ventilation all the way around the edges of the tent, so that when you do get condensation, it runs down and it drains out the screens on the end. There are a ton of tie out points. You can use up to 10 stakes with this tent, so if you're in very, very windy conditions, you can really stake this thing out and get it tied down well. Now, I did strongly consider selling the Plexamid and going back to using a duplex, because there's definitely extra space in there, and if you want to fit someone else in your tent at any time, you can. I don't have that luxury with this tent, unfortunately. But when it came down to the nitty-gritty of it, I figured, that would be adding probably 4 more ounces to my base weight, and I've spent a ton of money and time trying to get my base weight down to what it is. Speaking of base weights, if you want to see what my current base weight is for the PCT, I'll leave my lighter link down below. All right, let's forget about the tent for a second. Let's talk mattress pad. Whew, there she is. That is my Thermarest Neoair xlite. It's 72 inches long, it's 20 inches wide, and it's one loud, beautiful mattress. I love it. It's really not that loud. Hear it? It's a little crinkly, but when you roll over at night, people complain about the noise of this mattress. Listen when I roll over. Did that wake you up? It does not wake me up at all. Anyway, like I said, 20 by 72. It weighs 12 ounces. It inflates with 20 to 25 breaths, or a trash bag if you line your pack with a trash bag. There isn't much more to say about this mattress. It has a good R value. I've been in snow with it. It's kept me warm enough in conjunction with my quilt, which is what we're going to talk about in a second. First, let me get to my pillow. This is a Big Sky Dream Sleeper. This thing weighs about 1.7 ounces. I had it on a large stretch of the Appalachian Trail with me. It's starting to get mold inside of it. I don't care. And I've already had to patch it once. You can see the circle there. So I patched that with, I think it was a Type A Thermarest patch, or a Type A Terraid patch. And so that's my mattress and my pillow. Let's move on to this buddy here I have laying in the grass. So this is my Enlightened Equipment Revelation 20-degree down quilt. I'm not going to be putting it on right now because I live in Hawaii and it's about 80 degrees right now and I'm sweating just sitting in this tent. But you can see the loft of this thing. I just got done washing it about a week and a half ago, so it's puffed up really nice. And speaking of which, next week I'm going to be posting a video on how I wash all my down gear, because I realized the last time that I used this quilt how bad it stank. It smelled horrible, and I realized that I never washed it after hiking 2,200 miles with it. So I took care of that about a week ago. But yeah, Enlightened Equipment 20-degree down quilt, 850 fill down tech treated down, water resistant. This is a 10D inner, you can see by how translucent it is, and a 20D outer because it's a little more water resistant when it comes to brushing up against the sides of the tent with condensation and such. But I think it weighs around 22, maybe 23 ounces. And that is my sleep system right there, man. I got the tent, mattress pad, the pillow, the quilt, and I have some rain coming in. You can see it over the mountains. So we're gonna call this video the end. If you guys have any questions whatsoever about my tent, my mattress pad, my quilt, my pillow, post them in the comments below and I will address them in the next video. As a matter of fact, if you have any questions about anything, post them below and I will address them in the next video. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Grizzle Gear out. Next week we're gonna see how I wash my down gear. Mahalo.